And this one's a competitive worker placement game that's set in a 1920s biopunk universe. Resources have become scarce, but a new element was discovered that harnesses a lot of power, and players are going to be competing for that resource. The way the game works is that each player is going to be starting the game with 4 different types of workers, and what's neat about these workers is that you can use them in order to take various actions out on the different locations out on the board, but depending on which worker you choose to take that action with, it's going to be giving you a different secondary action that is specific to that location. Each player also starts with their own personal player board, which represents their airship, and this is used for a few different things. First of all, you'll be able to store or install resources onto your ship. Your storage is represented by the spaces in the top left corner here. You'll be able to use that in order to hang on to certain resources over multiple turns. But then in the bottom left corner here, this is where you can install resources. Resources can come in different types as well as different colors, and whenever you store a resource into this grid here, it can never be beside another resource of the same type or of the same color. Doing this is really nice because it will score you victory points at the end of each round, but of course it does come at the cost of that resource. The spaces on the right here have more to do with your workers rather than your ship, but this is another really cool aspect of the game because you're going to be able to get all sorts of different upgrade cards throughout the game, and you'll be able to assign those to your workers in order to further customize the different benefits and actions for using those specific workers. What's also cool about this is that these upgrades to your workers are done through biological implants, and the game offers a bunch of little rubber components that you'll actually be able to fix onto your different meeples in order to signify that they have those upgrades. But the game plays over 4 rounds where players are going to be taking turns placing their workers out on the various locations out on the board, and that's going to allow you to gain the action of that location, but then depending on which worker you decide to use, you're going to be getting a specific secondary action related to that location, but then also if you have any upgrades on your worker, then that can also get you some additional benefits. But these different actions are going to allow players to collect or sell different elements or spend those elements in order to complete objective cards, which can grant you with all sorts of different bonuses, but it's also the primary way that you're going to be getting that rare new resource into your supply. But you can also spend elements in order to move up these different element tracks. You're going to be moving up the one that matches that element type, and the further you are ahead on these tracks, the more victory points you're going to be getting at the end of the game. But that special rare new element is especially useful with this next action, which allows you to move up on the progress tracker. And this is essentially a track that has a bunch of different icons and tokens around it, and each time that you pass one of those icons or tokens, you're going to be gaining the associated benefit. What's neat about this is that you're going to be trading in those special elements in order to move up this progress track, and the more that you trade in at a single time, the further you're going to be able to multiply your movement. This means that you have the tough decision of taking this action early in order to get the benefits of it, or to wait and pool your resources together in order to be more efficient with your actions, and just take bigger moves out on that track later, spending more of your resources at once. One of the remaining actions you can also take is to upgrade your airship, which is going to be increasing its capacity, allowing you to hold more resources and have a little bit more flexibility. And I did mention that you can upgrade your workers by getting these various cards, but I didn't mention how you actually get those cards. And the reason for that is because it's not actually done through actions. Instead, at the start of each round, there's going to be a drafting phase where players are going to be drafting these cards and then assigning them to one of their workers. The game continues like this over the 4 rounds, and then the player with the most victory points at the end of that wins the game, and if you do want to check this one out, I will have it linked down below.